Hey, Ticats fans, your digital host Louie B here, and all this week we're getting you set for the CFL draft, just a few short days away, and I'm very pleased to be joined by the Senior Director of Personnel and Co-Manager of Football Operations, Drew Allemang. Drew, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Thanks, Louie.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this. Obviously, some challenges, some big obstacles to kind of navigate with the 2020 CFL draft. But just take us through, I guess, obviously the work started a long time ago, but take us through the last few weeks, what you've been up to.
Yeah, so, there's been, I don't know if they're really challenges. I mean, things have maybe been a little bit different here with everything that everyone's going through. We've just kind of had to adapt and there's maybe just different ways that we went about things. But the information's for the most part been the same and things have kind of worked out quite well. But this time of year, a lot of the information's been gathered and it's kind of just organizing it and coming to some final conclusions on players and, putting our final grades on players and kind of organizing our draft board. That's kind of been the main focus the past few weeks, and kind of through this weekend we'll alter things accordingly with what might happen in the NFL draft and come to a final draft board early next week.
The 2020 draft class, when you look at it as a whole, what kind of jumps out to you as someone who's been following these kids? What's kind of a defining feature of the 2020 CFL draft class?
It's like most classes. There's value throughout the draft. I think this one, I think each position group has players that you'd like to have on your team. So I think that's probably the one thing we're most excited about is just having value in each position group, really.
Having 2 first-round picks this year and next, does that change how you enter a draft when you got 2 picks in that first round, or are you guys kind of in the mindset that you take the best player available no matter where you are kind of in the draft?
Yeah, I think it's always kind of a combination of how can you address a need and still take the best player available. There's a fine line there that you're trying to navigate, but it doesn't really change that we have 2 first round picks. I mean, you kind of take each pick that you have, you kind of approach it with the same scrutiny you would a first round pick. So if we're talking about our 8th round pick, I mean, we're going to do as much detail or background work on that player that we think might be available in that round as we would someone that's available in the first round. So I don't think it really changes too much.
Can you just maybe explain to fans, just how significant the CFL, this draft is? I mean, we always have impact players coming up, through free agency, but in terms of building a team in the CFL, how important is the draft?
I think it's very important. I mean, I think any way that you acquire players for your team to address needs or to create competition is important, and the draft's no different. I mean, it's how the Canadian players come into our draft or into our league, it's a way that we can add to our Canadian depth and really create competition.
Mm-hmm. Is there a Darius Ciraco in this draft class? Is there a guy you think could make an impact week 1 on a Ticats roster in 2020?
I mean, there's kind of in every position group. I think there's players that could come in and play for a team early. I mean, sometimes you don't want these players to come in and have to start right away. I mean, there's a period where you might have to live through some of their mistakes and their overall growth. And Darius, I mean, he was thrusted into a position to play really early, and that's kind of credit to him. I mean, mentally he was what you look for from a football intelligence standpoint, and the game wasn't too big for him. But players like him are often sometimes unique, that not everyone can do that. But it doesn't mean that they're not going to be good football players over time. It's just they might be a little bit different maturation process.
Absolutely. What does draft day for you? Is it nerves? Is it what do you feel going into that? I guess not draft room this year, but the virtual draft room this year. What kind of goes through your head?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a bit of both. I mean, there is obviously some nerves involved. I mean, I think if there wasn't, it might not be important to you. But there's also a lot of excitement. You get to know a lot of these players. I mean, there's probably by the time it's all done, I mean, there's probably 130 players on a pretty personal level through interviews and just interactions with references that are involved in their lives, and so I think you end up being really excited for them with regardless of what team they end up on. But it is a very, very exciting moment for our team, and it's just something that I'm excited for it to happen, and then see everyone play in the CFL one day.
Well said, Drew. Really appreciate you doing this, my friend. Good luck the rest of the week. Can't wait to see what you guys do on draft night. And again, thanks for doing this.
Oh, no problem, Louie. Take care, and talk to you soon.
Absolutely.